I did.
It's Sunday, you gotta get what you want. That's not coffee, that's Red Bull.
It is Red Bull.
Aren't you gonna walk it back?
I'm going.
See you over there maybe later?
I don't know.
Check your phone. Please check your phone. I hope you know how to do it. I need the marker. Thomas?
Yeah, I heard you.
You doing all right?
I had to fucking run into her. I just gotta have to shoot myself.
I certainly hope you don't. Like I said, you're always very patient.
So I'm gonna head over to my storage space. I think later this afternoon I'm gonna buy the bike, and then first thing in the morning I'm gonna head up the Wilson River, because I think that's probably the best place where I'll find
A decent camping spot.
yeah, right where the mountains meet there. Then that's all either state forest or national forest. So I'll start looking up in there.
I'm going to try to fly a sign until about 2. If you are still able to make some time later on to go look at possible sites, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're not able to, getting that bike and getting yourself set up is definitely a priority. So go ahead and work on that. Hello.
Yes. So for you, if we find a place where you can park the car, but I don't know how safe it would be at night.
That's true. Well, if I could get there, if I could find the spot, even if it's at night, I can hold off on actually going there, and I can pull in first thing in the morning, get everything unpacked and set up at a camp, and get it camouflaged by nighttime. And then I can bring my car all the way back to town if need be and walk out, as long as it's not too far out.
Yeah, so let's see. I wanted to be back by 4, because the church over here is giving out free meals, so we get back by 4. That's 12:15 now. So you know where my storage is.
I do.
When you're done here, if you want to come over there.
All right.
From there, we can drive up the Wilson River and just kind of park, and I can scout the area just enough to make sure that it's not an area where
Traffic.
people are going. And, then the site will be close enough to water. And but
God, I am so glad that you're not an idiot. Apparently, you've served a little bit of time out there camping long term. I asked some of them youngins, they said they knew of some good spots right outside of town. One of the spots they picked is that one right there. I'm like, that's not outside of town. That's not a good spot, and it's wide open. Too much traffic. So when I talked to you about it, you seem to be, you're not a moron. You've got experience.
yeah, I think you'd like that area. It's just a matter of the safety of your car during the night.
I'm glad you think about that, because a lot of people don't. It's like a wives' tale to them.
Well, Painted Rock?
Yeah,
That's cool.
it is. There's literally thousands of them now around town. They have I guess some sort of a rock painting festival every year, and they do that and put them all over the place. That one's number 988. Morning. The mean beans are delicious. He's got one of them monsters like I usually like to drink. All right, well, I'll let you know when I'm done here. If you got any emergencies, go ahead and text me. If it'll be a few extra or you need a few extra, go ahead and feel free to let me know.
Okay. Approximate time then,
I'll probably leave here around 2. I'll probably be up there around probably 2:20, 2:30 at most, because it'll take me time to go up to my vehicle, get it prepped for driving.
Yeah, so we get back about 4 and then, do you want to go to that church with me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The more I go to, the more I have a visual memory of it. If I have a visual memory of it instead of people just telling me, I do all right. Like when you drew the map with your finger. I got a visual memory of where you were talking about still. I also know where Nettertz is because I looked it up, and the only reason I was able to remember Nettertz is because you drew a map with your finger. So thank you for not being an idiot on that account too. And she walked up talking nice again. I knew something was up.
See you in a while.
Yes, sir. So I don't know what exactly happened this morning. I know I haven't made a penny since I turned off the camera. I also know that the other day she shanghaied him. She ran into him in Fred Meyer's, and he basically had a choice between going with her or her making a big scene in Fred Meyer's. So he did the intelligent thing and defused the situation. Oh, sun's right in my eyes.
I think I'm gonna go down and try to catch the bus. Save me some energy for later.
Yes, sir, you need it. Hey, did you get any decent sleep at all last night?
Yeah. Actually, earlier this morning, I got a couple hours of good sleep. So
Very
I'm in
good.
shape now.
Absolutely. It ain't easy sleeping in my vehicle. We did make room so that we're not completely crunched in there. About 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a guy screaming at the top of his lungs. Maybe 3:30, I don't know. It was the butt crack away friggin' early though. With Molly throwing stuff at him and actually hitting him with the stuff she's thrown at him, and the way that she talks down to him and follows him places, that's total creeper status. Now, I don't know if this morning was one of them things or not, but it could have been. Like I said, when I saw her and him this morning in the Starbucks, he had his shoulders in and his hands in his lap. standing up wouldn't be too detrimental for me if I was to stand on the road because I'm only 5'9". It's not like I'm 6 foot tall, so I could probably stand up and sort of get away with it. But I gain an extra 4 inches if I stand on the curb, extra 6 inches. So that would put me over 6 foot. And that just makes me look imposing. Although I haven't made anything in quite a while now. I'm still out here because I know peak hours run until about 2 o'clock. After 2 o'clock, you're not really running into the church crowd. Now that's one of the things that has always weirded me out about the church crowd. They'll kick you down money, which is nice, but they'll also judge the hell out of you. Which is which. You good? The lady put her arms out like this. She doesn't have anything to get. That's okay. I've had a couple of decent conversations, and the guy dropped by and gave me some Red Bull. I should probably stand up. Kind of makes me want to scream at the top of my lungs, thank you, every time somebody acknowledges my existence. Well, in a positive way. Yes, I try to acknowledge people's existence just because they drove by. Most of them anyway. Their license plate says Idaho, but I didn't call them that. Obviously, we're not doing any better as far as money goes than when we first started the video. And pissed off and screaming at people for not giving me money. You know? Sometimes people give me them looks, and then I acknowledge their existence, and they just can't help but smile. It's when people look at you and smile with an open mouth. That's what hurts. Because that's not being happy that you acknowledge their existence. Smile, that's them laughing at your misfortune. Yes, sir. The man's bumper sticker said, "If guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns." Same thing can be said if it's police who still have guns, because they are the outlaws. They're not following the law. They don't have to anymore. Americans don't give a shit. This is not America anymore. This is a toilet bowl. And what do we fill toilet bowls with? There's another person here who had a personalized license plate that says TPLES. Sounds pretty shitty. The thing with Molly is that I'm very clear. Very clear. I don't give people maybes for something that I'm done with. With Natalie Bollinger and people that she had harming me, I was very clear with them about what I would do. I said I would retaliate against Kim Deasman and Ted Bollinger. And I absolutely did. I exposed both of those sumbitches. Goddamn yes, I'm proud of myself. Now, one of the things I have to worry about with Molly is that, well, Tom is a lonely man. If she pretends like she might be his girlfriend, he might fall for it. And then, of course, I'll end up catching hell for it. Happens often. There are a lot of women out here who manipulate like that over and over again. When she takes him for all he's worth, she'll find somebody else. We have a lot of predatory women out here. A lot of women who think everything is owed to them. A lot of women who want to take advantage of a man's pension or his disability money or his GI Bill. And you got a disabled man out here, he's got to live on $800 a month, and you got a woman who's also getting disability, and she's making her $800 a month, and she thinks she should be allowed to keep all of her money. And the man should spend all of his money and all of his time on her. And we get those expectations with Tom, he'd be doing better off, and also so would I, if he'd just be done with her. The lady last night that I was speaking with, she told me many of the things that people say over and over again when they don't hear the situation. And she was so busy wanting to talk and wanting to finish my sentences, I didn't get to finish any of them. By the way, that's also the lady that gave me the pot last night. After about 30 minutes conversation, I started having a panic attack. Now, this lady has Asperger's as well, so she understands the meltdowns, but she was speaking to me about social bias, about how screwed up men have it, how a man literally cannot win. I've been here for almost 22 minutes on this recording, haven't made a penny. But you also got to see I did make some money earlier. And it's barely enough to cover the expenses for a day because it costs money to survive. It costs money for gas, it costs money for food. You want to tell me about free food? Well, it's not free food if I got to pay for gas to go there and pay for gas to go somewhere else afterwards. It still costs me. That doesn't mean I'm ungrateful for it. Not even a little bit. If I go buy a meal at Denny's, it costs me $6. For me to drive to Denny's and back here at Fred Meyer's, it costs me about 30 cents. If I'm to drive to the other end of town, though, it's in town driving. That uses up more gas. It'll probably take me between $1 and $2 to go to the feed. But when you consider the cheapest meal at Denny's is $6, and you figure that the meals that they have at the feed, they may not be warm, but there's about the same amount as a portion as is on the cheapest meal at Denny's. It's worth the $2 to go there and back. At least Tom was able to get on the bus. That's who I just waved at, was Tom. It costs $1.50 for him to get on the bus, so it's not really more expensive to ride the bus. It's just like he was saying, it takes so much time. Like you go on a tour of the whole town before it stops where you're going. Luckily, it's a small town. Yes, sir. Thank you. Absolutely. Oh, Christ, I shouldn't have caught that. He tossed me a water. I'd rather drink water than Red Bull anyway. All right. I may not have made a single penny, but I did make 2 Red Bulls and a water. least it's something close to sustenance. He keeps saying she hasn't figured it out yet, that he ain't coming back. But that'd be a lot easier if he actually outright said it. But he doesn't outright say it to her. He says he's gonna, but then he doesn't. If it becomes a situation where it's taking up too much time, does he keep stopping to help her, or to tickle her fancy, I guess. You know, that's something that she's showing the same behaviors over and over again. And even when you make or create a significant change whereby it will hopefully help to put her at ease and hopefully she'll stop being as mean, it seems to me that it ends up with her being even more mean. That ain't easy to handle. It's not easy to deal with. And it doesn't make him a bad person. But if he keeps on going back to a screwed up situation like that with me in tow, I have the choice to back off, back away, and go elsewhere. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. All right, rock. Just that was 3 black men who just kicked me down some. Most of the people who have kicked me down Cashier, they're usually poor people or minorities. I'm not just going to assume the minority is poor because they're a minority, because that leads to making stupid decisions, like believing that you can down on another human being. Oh, they're black, they must be broke. Well, as soon as you start thinking that way, you start selling yourself a narrative that's absolutely true. It's that if they're broke, then it's easy to victimize them, and if somebody takes shit out on you, you can take it out on them and get away with it. But the part of the narrative that it's not true, not all minorities are flat broke. Being a minority doesn't make you flat broke, and it doesn't mean that you grew up in the ghetto. I knew a guy in Boulder, Colorado, born and raised, and he come from a upper middle class black family. Now, when I met him, he was talking all sorts of Ebonics, and he knows all about Compton and this, that, and the other. Holy dear God, when I met his mother, it occurred to me that if he tried speaking Ebonics in front of her, she was going to slap the taste out of his mouth. He didn't grow up in the ghetto. He ain't never been to Compton. He was trying to play off of a bias. But also by playing off of that bias, he makes it worse for black people. Because he doesn't want to make the association of people see his color of skin and make a skin color association. And then they say things like, well, black people do this and black people do that. Well, you ever seen a white person do that? Do you blame all white people? When I say I'm thankful for the brown-skinned folks, I certainly am. Whoa. Thank you, good man. Thank you very much. You guys rock. That was a man trying to use me as a lesson for his son. Son looks about 4 or 5 years old. And he had $1 in each hand, and he gave them both to me. His father had a cash jar on his lap, had a bunch of coins in it. I get the feeling there was 2 $1 bills in there, and that's what they give me. I want to turn down kids who do that, but also I understand the lesson. It's exactly the opposite of the lesson that my dad taught me. But my dad taught me wrong. My dad taught me from the experience of someone who's never had to experience it. My dad taught me from the experience of what his daddy taught him, what his granddaddy taught him, and what he was told growing up in Nebraska. That's part of the reason for my dad's ignorant ass racism. Too much time in Nebraska. My dad don't like minorities in general. My mom specifically hates Mexicans. And anybody brown skinned might as well be Mexican to her. The reason that she hates Mexicans, she says, is because a Mexican raped her. Well, her dad's a white guy and he raped her too. Does she hate all white guys? No, really, she's a man-hater. Certain men do bad shit to her and she never turned them in. She just ran around talking about how horrible men are, when in specific, the horrible man in her life was her daddy. Like many of these women. Also, like many of these women, she didn't take it out on her predator. She took it out on men in general, except her predator. I mean, sure, she extorted him between her and my Uncle Greg out of over $200,000. But my grandpa belonged in prison for that. I'm thankful for minorities. I'm thankful for decent people. Well, that's a bunch of hard-ass biker-looking guys there. And they waved. At least 2 of them in the vehicle smiled. We made something this time, didn't we, though? Took almost 30 minutes, but we were able to get something. Hopefully that'll help to take care of my vitals expenses. Got to keep my vitals running. The less time I have to spend out here panhandling the money that it takes just to survive, the more time I have for working on the things that I need to in order to create social change and get justice. If it takes $20 in a day to cover my basics, then I got to make $20 a day. If it takes me 20 minutes to make that $20, that leaves me a lot of free time. If it takes me 4 days to make $20, I'm slipping behind. I'm losing calories and losing weight. Now there's resources that if you can get to them on time, good on you. But there's a lot of times where people want to push you to go to a resource that's only there once a week. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I love your shirt.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Be safe. There's a guy from Starbucks in this city. He's still wearing the Starbucks hat. They were here about 20 minutes ago and drove by. Tender crispy chicken sandwich. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This saved me at least $1, or at least 30 minutes of my time to go try to track down a drinking fountain. This saved me $6 on getting lunch today over at Denny's. It's useful. The guy who was here before me, when people give him food, he eats it right then and there. That way people see him eating. They know that he's not just holding on to it and pretending he'll eat it later, maybe getting all method out of his gourd and throwing it away. But also eats it right there because he's hungry right then and there. One day he ended up with enough groceries here to fill somebody's fridge. He couldn't eat it all and couldn't carry it all. So he gave some to me, some to a couple other homeless people. He had to throw a bunch of it away because what he needed was money, not perishable food. He's also one of those people who thinks he was in the FBI or the CIA, but you get to hear, you know, the stuff that he knows he does know. Where the food is, where to sit, where the different services are and how to get there. I was given a bracelet yesterday. It says, pray first. Hello? No need to say sorry. I am glad for anything I get. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, what is your doggy? She's got a little brown and white pit bull in the back seat. Older, probably about 8 or 9 years old. Just sat there looking pretty. One thing I noticed in specific, the guys with Airborne Ranger or not tattoos, but yeah, Airborne Ranger tattoos or bumper stickers, they will always acknowledge my existence if I acknowledge theirs. If I tip my hat, they tip theirs. One of the guys out here told me that has to do with the Airborne Rangers wearing berets, and I was pretty sure that was not the Airborne who wore those. The most popular one that I've seen this week is 82nd Airborne. Between Colorado and Tennessee, I saw a whole bunch of 101st Airborne. It seems pretty universal. You tip your imaginary hat, they'll tip theirs back. Also, being homeless burns a lot of calories. Those of you in houses who have a workout regimen, if you were homeless, you'd get your workout. Especially if you didn't have a vehicle or money for gas if you did have a vehicle. With that older feller, when he runs into, or with Tom, I should say, when he runs into Molly and it ends up being him hanging out with her in the mornings, I'm not sure exactly how that situation keeps happening when he keeps saying he's done with her, but I've had people that track me down more than once after I was done with them. That was really good. It's okay to give homeless people food. Of course, we have to be afraid that you're going to dose it, put drugs in it, or other things. So it's dangerous for us. Don't take candy from stranger, all that. Don't take candy from strangers and all that. But I'm hungry. My burger has onion rings and barbecue sauce. This is so good. so good. I am extremely grateful for this delicious chow. Is that an airborne sticker too? Nope, it's not. All right. I should probably try to conserve the water by drinking some of this here Red Bull. Because if I drink all the water, then I'm stuck with just Red Bull. And when I drink the Red Bull, it kind of makes me thirsty. Altogether, the cost of the items that people have given me this morning is probably probably between 10 and 15 bucks. And then the lady last night that gave me the weed, she also gave me 2 oranges. I'm more likely to eat the oranges than smoke the pot, of course. That guy this morning told me he'd give up his spot if I gave him pot. He don't got to give up his spot. I didn't want the pot anyway. I didn't turn it down though. Because like I said, in the homeless community, nobody's going to trust you if you're squeaky clean. You're going to find it hard to fit in if everyone's on drugs and you're squeaky clean. What a cute dog. So we hit a slow spot again, and I'm not making any money right now, but you notice I got food. I got food. You know what I would have spent that money on that they'd have given me? I was getting pretty hungry. I'd have gone and spent it on food. The less money I have to expend, the better off I'll be, and the more likely it is I'll be able to actually save up some money to do something with. See what time it is. 1:03, so we got a whole another hour of peak hours. Hell yes. Bunch of Hispanic looking folks from Texas. Are they Hispanic? I don't know. I'm judging based on their skin color. I'm also pointing out the fact that all the people in that vehicle acknowledged my existence, and all but one waved, and that person had their hands on a steering wheel. But he at least looked and smiled. Good morning. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Thanks very much. You too, I already am. Yes, ma'am. Heck yes. Every little bit is better than nothing. Like I was saying earlier, if it takes me 20 minutes to make 20 bucks, and that frees up a lot of time. If it takes me 4 days to make 20 bucks, oh my God, I gotta pee though. I gotta end the video and go to the bathroom. Good to be ready. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Oh my God.